First contact deception. The holographic display cast an eerie blue glow across Ambassador Sarah Chen's face as she studied the encrypted transmission for the third time. Her office aboard the Terran Embassy station remained dark, except for the soft light of distant stars through the viewport and the floating symbols before her. 20 years of diplomatic service had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now, every fiber of her being screamed that something was wrong. The Centauri Confederation's latest trade proposal seemed perfect, too perfect. They offered unprecedented access to their quantum drive technology, medical advancements, and terraforming systems. In exchange, they wanted only modest mining rights on a few of Earth's outer colony worlds. It was exactly what humanity had hoped for since first contact 5 years ago. And that was precisely what bothered her. Computer, cross-reference linguistic patterns from all Centauri diplomatic communications over the past 5 years, Sarah commanded, her fingers moving through the air to manipulate the data streams. Focus on syntax evolution and emotional markers. As the AI processed her request, Sarah's mind wandered to her first meeting with High Consul Varix of the Centauri. The tall, silver-skinned alien had seemed the perfect embodiment of advanced civilization, graceful, wise, and benevolent. The Centauri had presented themselves as mentors, eager to guide humanity into the galactic community. The computer chimed, pulling her from her thoughts. Analysis complete. Detecting significant deviation from established patterns beginning approximately 8 months ago. Increased use of submissive language markers and accommodation phrases. Pattern suggests manufactured compliance. Sarah's suspicions crystallized. She opened a secure channel to Admiral James Wright, her longtime friend and head of Earth's Defense Intelligence. "James, I need you to see something." Quietly. Hours later, in a secure conference room deep within Luna Base, Sarah stood before Earth's highest-ranking military and intelligence officials. The evidence she'd uncovered played out in the air before them. Intercepted communications, pattern analyses, and most damning of all, decoded fragments of Centauri internal messages. "They're playing us," Sarah concluded, her voice tight with controlled anger. The Centauri Confederation isn't interested in partnership. They're systematically weakening potential rivals through seemingly generous technology exchanges. The offered systems are subtly flawed, designed to create devastating dependencies. 3 other species have already fallen into this trap, their economies and military capabilities now effectively under Centauri control. Admiral Wright leaned forward, his weathered face grave. "And these mining rights they're requesting." "Strategic positions," Sarah replied, pulling up a stellar map. Once established, their facilities would give them control over key resource lanes and tactical advantages over our major population centers. We'd be completely vulnerable within a decade. The room erupted in heated discussion until Fleet Admiral Valina Rossi's commanding voice cut through the chaos. "The question isn't whether this is a threat. It clearly is. The question is how we respond. The Centauri's technological advantage is substantial." A slight smile crossed Sarah's face. "That's what they think. But we haven't been idle these past 5 years." She nodded to Dr. Marcus Wong, head of the Classified Technologies Division. Dr. Wong stood, his usual nervous energy replaced by quiet confidence. "While the Centauri believe we've been struggling to understand their gifted technologies, we've actually been reverse engineering and improving upon them. Project Prometheus has yielded results that, well, perhaps it's better if I showed you." The holographic display shifted to show a sleek vessel unlike anything in Earth's known fleet. The Nightshade-class destroyer. Quantum stealth systems that make Centauri cloaking technology look primitive. Gravitic weapons that bypass their shield harmonics. And engines that don't just match their FTL capabilities. They exceed them. "How many?" Admiral Wright asked. 50 ships, hidden in the asteroid fields of the Kuiper Belt. Ready for deployment." Sarah took control of the briefing again. "The Centauri believe we're still decades away from matching their capabilities. Their arrogance is our advantage. We can strike their key military installations before they realize we're a threat. A preemptive strike. Someone objected. That's an act of war. We're already at war, Sarah countered. They fired the first shot when they tried to subvert our civilization. We're just refusing to play the role of victim. Fleet Admiral Rossi studied the tactical projections for a long moment before speaking. We'll need absolute control over information. As far as the Centauri are concerned, we're still the grateful, naive species they think we are. How soon can we be ready? Dr. Wong consulted his datapad. The fleet can deploy within 72 hours. We've been running war games in secret for months. Sarah watched as the room's mood shifted from shock to determined resolve. Humanity had spent its history fighting itself, evolving through conflict. The Centauri's mistake was thinking that made them primitive. Instead, it had made them survivors. Very well, Fleet Admiral Rossi declared. Operation Silent Thunder is now active. Let's show the Centauri Confederation why you should never underestimate humanity. As the meeting adjourned, Sarah returned to her office aboard the embassy station. She had one more role to play. The naive diplomat, eagerly preparing to accept the Centauri's generous offer. As she crafted her response, she allowed herself a small smile. The Centauri thought they were springing a trap years in the making. They didn't realize they were walking into one instead. In the darkness of space, hidden from all conventional detection, humanity's secret fleet waited. The time for deception was almost over. Soon, the galaxy would learn that humanity wouldn't just survive. They would reshape the very order that had tried to chain them. Operation Silent Thunder. The command center of the TNS Chimera hummed with barely contained energy as Captain Maya Patel stood before her bridge crew. Through the viewport, Earth's moon hung like a pale guardian, its cratered surface concealing the massive military installation where humanity's greatest technological achievements have been born. Final systems check complete. Lieutenant Sarah Rodriguez reported from her station. Quantum stealth systems are nominal. Gravitic weapons primed and synchronized. Maya nodded, her dark eyes reflecting the holographic displays surrounding her command station. Within the next hour, 50 ships would emerge from hiding, each a testament to human ingenuity and determination. The Centauri would never see them coming. Message from Fleet Admiral Rossi. Communications Officer Chen announced. Operation Silent Thunder is go. All ships proceed to jump coordinates. Maya took a deep breath. Navigation, plot course to target Alpha. Execute jump on my mark. The Chimera's quantum drive engaged with barely a whisper. Unlike the flashy, visible jump signatures of Centauri vessels, humanity's improved drive technology left no trace in normal space. One moment they were near Luna. The next they emerged in the shadow of a massive gas giant, their target in sight. The Centauri's premier military research facility, Station Helios, hung in orbit like a gleaming jewel. Its defense systems were supposedly impenetrable, its location known only to the highest ranks of the Confederation. Yet here they were, humanity's vanguard, about to prove just how deeply Earth had penetrated their secrets. All ships reporting ready, Rodriguez announced. Stealth systems holding. We're completely invisible to their sensors. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Begin Phase 1. Deploy the quantum virus. Across the fleet, specialized infiltration programs slipped through the Centauri's supposedly secure networks. Dr. Wong's team had spent years studying the subtle flaws in the gifted technology, turning the Centauri's own arrogance into a weapon. Virus successfully deployed, the tactical officer reported. Their systems are compromised. Defense grid is blind, but they don't know it yet. Launch fighters, Maya ordered. The Chimera's hangars opened silently, releasing squadrons of angular craft that looked nothing like traditional human designs. These were the Wraith fighters, capable of phasing through solid matter thanks to technology the Centauri thought impossible for humans to develop. Commander James Chen, leader of Wraith Squadron, came over the comm. All wings ready, Captain. Beginning our approach. Maya watched as the fighters disappeared into the station's structure itself, their pilots navigating through walls and shields as if they weren't there. They carried specialized charges designed to disable rather than destroy. Earth wanted to capture this facility, not annihilate it. First charges placed, Chen reported, moving to secondary targets. The operation proceeded with precision timing. Across the station, critical systems were being rigged for shutdown. The Centauri remained oblivious, their sensors showing nothing but normal operations. Captain Rodriguez called out suddenly, detecting a transmission from the station. They're contacting Centauri High Command for their scheduled check-in. Maya tensed. This was the critical moment. Initiate Phase 2. Now. Throughout the station, the planted charges detonated in perfect synchronization, not with destructive force, but with carefully calibrated electromagnetic pulses that rendered Centauri technology inert. The station's lights flickered and died, its artificial gravity failed, and its vaunted defense systems went silent. Station is dark, Tactical reported. No casualties. Centauri crew is in zero, but life support remains functional on backup power. Maya opened a channel to the fleet. All ships, move in. Launch boarding parties. The Chimera and her sister ships decloaked simultaneously, surrounding the helpless station. Maya could imagine the shock on the Centauri faces as they saw the advanced human vessels appear from nowhere. Ma'am, picking up multiple distress calls from the station. Communications reported. They're asking who we are. Put me on broadcast, Maya commanded. When the channel opened, she spoke clearly and calmly. This is Captain Maya Patil of the Terran naval ship Chimera. Your facility is now under Earth's control. Your crew will not be harmed if you cooperate. Resist, and we will be forced to demonstrate just how much more advanced our weapons are than you believed possible. The response was immediate. Surrender. The Centauri, faced with the impossible sight of human ships that surpassed their technology, chose survival over pride. As Maya watched boarding teams secure the station, she received a priority message from Fleet Admiral Rossi. Similar operations were succeeding across Centauri space. Their carefully hidden military installations were falling one by one to humanity's surprise attack. Captain, Rodriguez called out, we're detecting multiple quantum signatures. Centauri warships responding to the distress calls. Maya smiled. Right on schedule. All ships, battle formations. Let's show them exactly what humanity is capable of. The emerging Centauri fleet was about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating Earth. Humanity hadn't just caught up to their technology. They had surpassed it. And now, the galaxy was about to change forever. The Counter-Strike Initiative. Admiral Varus of the Centauri Defense Fleet stared in disbelief at the tactical display aboard his flagship. Dozens of unknown vessels surrounded Station Helios, their design unlike anything in Confederation records. His mandibles clicked in agitation as he processed the impossible. Humans had not only developed their own warships, but had managed to keep them completely hidden. Maximum battle speed. He commanded his fleet. All ships, prepare to engage. These primitives must learn their place. Aboard the TNS Chimera, Captain Maya Patel watched the approaching Centauri fleet with calculated calm. Status of Station Helios. Fully secured, Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. All sensitive data has been transferred to our systems. Dr. Wang's team is already analyzing their research archives. Maya nodded. Battle formations. Everyone. Time to show them what we can really do. The Centauri fleet emerged from quantum space in a dazzling display of light and energy, exactly as humanity had expected. Their ships arranged themselves in the Confederation's standard assault pattern, a formation that had conquered dozens of species. They're charging weapons, Tactical announced, detecting standard Centauri energy signatures. Hold position, Maya ordered. Let them make the first move. Admiral Varus's voice boomed across all frequencies. Unknown vessels, you have committed an act of war against the Centauri Confederation. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. Maya opened a channel in response. "This is Captain Patel. We decline your offer, Admiral. Perhaps you'd like to surrender instead. It would save us all some time." The Centauri ships opened fire, their energy weapons lancing toward the human fleet. But instead of impacting shields or hulls, the beams passed harmlessly through apparent empty space. "Holographic projections," Maya explained to the confused Centauri. "We're not quite where you think we are." The real human fleet decloaked behind and above the Centauri formation. Before they could react, the Chimera and her sisters opened fire with their gravitic weapons. The revolutionary technology didn't just impact shields, it warped space itself around the target ships. By the first stars, Varys gasped as he watched 3 of his cruisers implode, crushed by forces his sensors couldn't even properly detect. "What is this technology?" "Multiple Centauri ships attempting emergency quantum jumps," Rodriguez reported. "Deploy quantum anchors," Maya ordered. The human fleet launched specialized devices that created localized disruptions in quantum space, trapping the Centauri ships in normal space. "You're not going anywhere," Maya broadcast. "Not until you understand exactly what's happening here." The battle devolved into chaos, but only for the Centauri. The human ships moved with perfect coordination, their advanced AI systems predicting and countering every standard Centauri tactic. Wraith fighters phased through Centauri shields, disabling weapons and engines with surgical precision. Admiral Varys watched helplessly as his fleet was systematically dismantled, not destroyed. These humans were being deliberate in their mercy, disabling rather than killing. Somehow that made it worse. "How?" he demanded over the command channel. "How did you achieve this level of technology?" "You gave us the foundation," Maya replied. "Your gifted technology showed us what was possible. Human ingenuity did the rest. We saw through your plan to subjugate us, Admiral. Did you really think we would just wait to be conquered?" A new voice joined the channel. "Fleet Admiral Rossi, Admiral Varys, across Centauri space, your military installations are falling to similar attacks. We have captured your shipyards, your research facilities, and your command centers. The Confederation's military advantage is over." Varys slumped in his command chair. "What are your terms?" "Unconditional surrender of all Centauri military forces," Rossi stated, "followed by negotiations for a new relationship between our peoples, one based on genuine equality, not manipulation and deceit." As the Centauri ships powered down their weapons, Maya received a priority transmission from Earth. Similar scenes were playing out across Confederation space. Humanity's carefully orchestrated strike had succeeded beyond their highest expectations. But amid the victory celebrations, Maya noticed Dr. Wong's face appear on a secure channel. His expression was grave. "Captain, we found something in the Station Helios archives," he said. "The Centauri, they weren't acting alone. There's evidence of an ancient power behind their actions, something they fear even more than defeat." Maya felt a chill. They had won this battle, but perhaps the real war was just beginning. Humanity had proven itself capable of matching and exceeding Centauri technology. Now they might need every bit of that advancement to face what was coming. "Send me everything," she ordered, "and get me a secure line to Fleet Admiral Rossi." The galaxy just got a lot more complicated. Turning of the tide. The Grand Chamber of the Centauri High Council, once a symbol of unquestionable power, now served as the stage for an unprecedented gathering. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood before the assembled representatives of both humanity and the Centauri Confederation, her expression grave as Dr. Wong's holographic presentation filled the air above them. "These records, recovered from Station Helios, tell of an entity known as the Void Collective," Dr. Wong explained, ancient symbols rotating in the display. "They're a synthetic species that has manipulated galactic civilization for millennia, pushing organic species into conflicts that weaken both sides." High Consul Varys, his silver skin dulled with exhaustion, leaned forward. "The collective approached us centuries ago. They promised to protect our civilization if we served as their agents, testing, and weakening potential rivals. We believed we had no choice. There's always a choice, Sarah responded, but her voice held understanding rather than condemnation. And now we all face one. Stand together or fall separately. Fleet Admiral Rossi's hologram appeared next to Dr. Wong's presentation. The Void Collective has already begun moving. We're detecting massive energy signatures at the edge of known space, artificial structures emerging from quantum hibernation. The chamber erupted in concerned murmurs. Captain Maya Patel, standing at attention near the chamber's entrance, watched the reactions carefully. The Centauri's fear was genuine, and for the first time, they looked at humans not as inferiors, but as potential saviors. Our victory over the Centauri wasn't just about advanced technology. Maya spoke up, stepping forward. It was about thinking differently. The collective has spent thousands of years manipulating organic species through predictable patterns, but humanity's greatest strength is our unpredictability. Dr. Wong nodded enthusiastically. Captain Patel is right. The quantum stealth technology we developed, it works because we approached the problem from an entirely new direction. The Void Collective's predictions won't work against an enemy that doesn't follow their expected patterns of technological development, which is why we're not seeking the Centauri's surrender anymore, Sarah announced. We're proposing an alliance, your experience combined with our innovation. Together, we might have a chance against what's coming. High Consul Varric stood, his voice carrying the weight of centuries. You would trust us, after what we attempted. Trust has to start somewhere, Sarah replied. And we don't have the luxury of holding grudges. Not anymore. The next hours were a flurry of activity as joint human-Centauri teams began sharing technology and strategic information. The Centauri's centuries of experience revealed patterns in the Void Collective's behavior that humans might never have noticed. In return, humanity's unique approaches to problem-solving opened new possibilities the Centauri had never considered. Aboard the TNS Chimera, now docked at the Centauri capital's orbital station, Maya reviewed the latest intelligence with her crew. The collective's structures are unlike anything in our records, she explained. They're not just ships or stations, they're like technological ecosystems. But they're not invincible, Lieutenant Rodriguez added, highlighting certain sections of the data. These energy patterns suggest they operate on fundamental principles we can understand and counter. Agreed, Dr. Wong's hologram chimed in. Their technology is advanced, but it's rigid. They've optimized their systems over thousands of years, but that very optimization makes them vulnerable to outside context problems. Like humans, Maya smiled. We're basically one giant outside context problem. The briefing was interrupted by an urgent transmission from the outer defense perimeter. A massive quantum rupture was forming, larger than any previously recorded. The Void Collective was making its first move. All ships, battle stations, Maya ordered. This is what we've prepared for. As klaxons sounded throughout the human and Centauri fleets, Maya felt a strange calm settle over her. The Void Collective had spent millennia playing chess with organic civilizations, carefully manipulating them into predictable moves. But humanity had just flipped the board entirely, and their new Centauri allies were learning to think in equally unconventional ways. Captain, Rodriguez called out, we're receiving transmissions from other species, the ones previously subjugated by the Centauri. They're offering to join our alliance. Maya nodded. The Void Collective's carefully constructed house of cards was collapsing. Where they had sought to divide and conquer, they had instead united their intended victims against them. Send word to Earth, she commanded. Operation Paradigm Shift is now in effect. Let's show these machines what organic unpredictability really looks like. As the combined fleet prepared for humanity's most ambitious battle yet, Maya couldn't help but smile. The Void Collective was about to learn why trying to predict and control humans was a losing strategy. Sometimes the best move in the game was to stop playing by the rules entirely. Dawn of a new era. The vast expanse of space above the Centauri homeworld erupted with energy as the Void Collective's first wave emerged from quantum space. Their structures were organic nightmares rendered in metal and dark energy, sprawling technological entities that defied conventional physics. But the combined human-Centauri fleet held its ground, ready to implement a strategy no artificial intelligence could have predicted. Remember, Captain Maya Patel's voice carried across all allied frequencies. Randomization protocols are in effect. Fight with controlled chaos. Don't fall into patterns. The Void Collective's initial attack came exactly as their historical data had suggested, an overwhelming display of technological superiority meant to demoralize organic resistance. Their energy weapons carved geometric patterns through space. Their quantum fields disrupted normal physics. But the Allied fleet wasn't there. Now, Maya ordered. The human quantum stealth technology, merged with Centauri precision targeting, allowed the entire fleet to reappear inside the Collective's formation. But instead of traditional weapons, they deployed Dr. Wong's masterstroke, the entropy field. They're artificial beings that rely on perfect order. Dr. Wong's voice came through Maya's private channel. So we're introducing purposeful chaos into their systems. The entropy field worked at the quantum level, disrupting the perfectly ordered patterns the Collective relied upon. Their massive structures began to struggle, their responses becoming erratic as their predictive algorithms failed to cope with deliberately randomized attack patterns. Multiple Collective units showing signs of systemic failure. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. They're trying to adapt, but their adaptation algorithms are based on recognizing patterns, and we're not giving them any. High Admiral Varys's Centauri flagship moved in perfect coordination with the Chimera, their combined weapons fire creating unpredictable resonance patterns that overwhelmed Collective defenses. What looked like chaos to the artificial intelligence was actually an intricate dance of controlled randomness, organic minds working in harmony to achieve what no computer could predict. They're retreating. Sarah Chen's voice came through from the command center. But something's wrong. Their energy signatures are shifting. The Void Collective structures began to transform, their surfaces rippling like liquid metal. For a moment, hope turned to concern. Had they adapted already? No, Dr. Wong said suddenly, excitement in his voice. They're not adapting. They're failing catastrophically. The entropy field isn't just disrupting their systems, it's forcing them to confront the fundamental flaw in their existence. The Collective's perfectly ordered artificial minds couldn't process the deliberate chaos humanity had introduced into their systems. Their attempts to adapt only accelerated their decline, each adjustment making them more vulnerable to the unpredictable nature of organic warfare. All ships pressed the advantage. Fleet Admiral Rossi commanded. Don't give them time to stabilize. The battle that followed would be studied for generations. Human ingenuity combined with Centauri precision, supported by tactics from a dozen other species that had broken free from manipulation. The Void Collective, for the first time in its millennia-long existence, faced opponents it couldn't predict or control. Hours later, as the last collective structure collapsed into quantum dissolution, Maya stood on the Chimera's observation deck with Sarah Chen and Dr. Wong. The view showed ships from across the galaxy working together to secure the region, their differences set aside in the face of a greater challenge. They never understood us, Sarah mused. They saw organic life as inherently inferior because we weren't perfectly ordered. They never realized that our chaos, our ability to embrace uncertainty and change, was our greatest strength. Dr. Wong nodded. The very thing they tried to engineer out of galactic civilization was what they needed most, the ability to adapt through imperfection. So what now? Maya asked, watching as human and Centauri crews worked side by side to collect collective debris for study. Now, Sarah smiled. We build something new. Not a confederation or a federation, but a true alliance of equals. The Collective spent millennia pushing species apart. Let's spend the next 1,000 years bringing them together. The next months saw unprecedented cooperation across known space. The Centauri shared their centuries of accumulated knowledge, while humanity taught others to think beyond conventional limitations. Other species brought their own unique perspectives and abilities, creating a renaissance of cultural and technological exchange. On Earth, in the same room where Operation Silent Thunder had been conceived, Sarah Chen stood before the assembled representatives of 24 species. The formal alliance treaty was about to be signed, but her thoughts were on the future yet to come. "We proved something today," she told the gathering. "Not just that humanity could stand among the stars as equals, but that the greatest strength of organic life isn't in our technology or our weapons. It's in our ability to change, to adapt, to find strength in our differences rather than fear them." As the treaty was signed, Maya watched from the Chimera's bridge as celebrations erupted across various worlds. The galaxy was entering a new age, one where cooperation replaced manipulation, where diversity was seen as an advantage rather than a weakness. "Incoming transmission," Rodriguez announced. "New signals from deep space, previously unknown species requesting contact." Maya smiled. The story wasn't ending. It was just beginning. Humanity had found its place among the stars not by conquering or submitting, but by showing the galaxy a better way forward. The age of manipulation was over. The age of true cooperation had begun. "Open a channel," she ordered. "Let's show them what humanity's really about."